of Biz Talk for TikTok. It is your host, Kyle Kaplanis. And on the show today, actually, I'm going to put a little warning here really quick because this episode might have some foul language that is not typical on my show. We have done it before, but I'm putting a warning right now. So if that's something, or if you got kids in the car, or if you got people who are not okay with language like that, you might want to listen to this later. But after that warning is done, I want to introduce on the show today, I have Carly Joy, and Carly is a TikTok creator who has over 1.1 million followers right now. Now, what makes her so special is she's done some really cool videos, and one of them being she did a original video with an EOS product, a shaving cream product, which we'll dive into, but that video went insanely viral where the brand actually took a bold move and got involved. So we're going to dive into that and then talk about a little bit about what Carly is up to now in today's world. But Carly, welcome to Biz Talk for TikTok.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Also, I wanted to mention a little bit about Carly, Project Z, who is the talent management company that we also run here, and Biz Talk is part of that. It's part of our corporate podcast. Carly is actually one of our talent, and we're really excited to have her signed on and on board because she's doing some fun, awesome things, which again we'll dive into. But Carly, I would love for you to give me a little rundown of who you are, so people can know a little bit more about you.
Okay, well, I'm Carly Joy, obviously, as we just established. I'm a TikTok creator. I cater mostly to, be relatable to other people. I believe in authenticity online. I got kind of bored of influencers who are like projecting an image, and I thought it would just be more fun to, show your real personality. So it's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, definitely. And I could tell like your personality online is so funny and it's very authentic. You don't hold back any bullshit. You're just straight to the point on how you're feeling and everything like that. Is that something that you always wanted to do, or was that something that became more of a thing as you got more comfortable in the platform?
So originally, it definitely wasn't always the plan. It was definitely more like put on makeup for every video and like speak in a certain way and blah blah. And then I think like after, one of the first videos I ever posted where I was just being myself kind of blew up. I realized like, oh my God, people actually want to listen to real human beings. So then
Mhm.
I just took it and I ran with it. So here we are.
Were you a little bit nervous at first being like so authentic about who you are? Were you
I
worried
mean,
about
yeah,
yeah,
it's nerve-wracking showing your real personality to a million people in any scenario.
right?
Because, like, you think about it, if you're standing in a room full of a million people, that's a lot of people. So
A
it's
lot.
like yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking at first, but people are mostly nice, I'm gonna be honest, like, a lot less people are mean than you think they would be.
No, that's true. That's one thing I have noticed on TikTok is there's a lot of people that hype each other up and like want to support each other. Of course, like anywhere you go, you're gonna get trolls on any platform. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get haters and all that. So, but I think it's important to work through those because there's gonna be a lot of really good people. And obviously, TikTok does make a nice for anybody listening that might be afraid of haters. You can filter out different comments or things like that, which is really cool. But like for instance, like my daughter, she just leaves it open. She don't give a shit. She just she just rolls with the hate. Do you do the do you do the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like it's not for the weak-minded, but like
It's true.
even in real life, not even just on the internet, there's always going to be someone who has something to say about what you're doing. So it's kind of just like whatever. If they're taking their time out of their day to comment something mean on a video, like come on,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know.
Exactly. You just gotta like brush it off because there's so many people that are jealous out there or just like they just that's their form of entertainment is just being horrible people. But you know what?
Exactly.
Yeah, you just kind of have to move forward. But okay, so like you're now did you ever think that you would have a million followers when you first initially started TikTok?
No, God, no. I um I didn't think that for like a long time. Even when my videos started blowing up, I was like a million people, like obviously a lot of people on TikTok have a million followers, but a million people feels like a lot of people. Because I
Yeah,
can't
it is.
standing in front of a crowd of a million people, like that would be pretty insane. That's how I think about it. I'm like, oh my God. Like that's a lot of people sitting there listening to what you have to say.
It's a lot. Like I don't even think there's a single stadium in the world that can house that many people. Do you know what I mean? So like there like sometimes and this kind of goes back to some viewership sometimes. Like there's a lot of creators out there who really get caught up in vanity metrics because it's easy as you grow and you're like used to so many thresholds of views. When they dip down, you do feel like, oh my gosh, there's not a lot of people. But when they dip down to like, let's say you're used to a million views and then you get a video that only has 100,000, some people are thinking like, oh, I only had 100,000. 100,000 people is
Hundreds of
still a
people's
lot,
people,
right? Like it's crazy that people are so caught up in that. I'm looking up a statistic really quick of like, okay, so for instance, I grew up in Las Vegas, and on here, I don't think this is true though. Like, there's no way. Uh, it says the population of Las Vegas is 634,000 people as of 2019. Is that real life? I think so. That's crazy. So
life.
basically, like, if you ever go to Las Vegas, right, and go into the city, not even just the Strip, but, like, if you fly over it, you see hundreds of thousands of houses, like, it's massive. To drive from one end of the city to the other, it takes about, like, 45 minutes. So think of that, like, you have more followers than, like, if they all lived in one area. It would take you, like, an hour to get from one end to the other just to, like, drive, to meet all those people. So that's, like, crazy. I
Yeah,
I I don't know why. I love looking at things like that and comparing it because it, like, mind blows people sometimes,
no, I know,
you
exactly, me
know?
too.
Because like, as a creator, you probably think sometimes, like, because you even said, there's a lot of people with 1,000,000 followers, but really, like, yeah, maybe, but you've done that. Like, those are your followers, though. They loving your stuff, Carly. That's dope.
Yeah, it definitely feels good.
Right? So, okay, so back in it was February, I looked at the date, it was February 28th, and you just made a video of sharing a little personal side of you on really how to like your favorite products to shave and all that. But like talk to me. I'm gonna share that clip in a minute, but okay, when you were coming up with that idea, was it just something that came to mind or talk to me a little bit about your thoughts before making that video?
So, honestly, like, back then, I was doing mostly, like, beauty themed stuff, so I was just sitting in front of my camera and looking pretty, and, I had been posting a lot of, like, videos in bikinis at that point, and people kept asking me what my shaving routine was, and I got kind of, like, annoyed of people asking, so I was like, "God, okay, fine, like, I'll make a video." So, I woke up after having gone out the night before, so I was looking and feeling pretty rough, and, I made the most, like, begrudgingly hungover video I've ever made in my life, and I cussed so much, and, like, in retrospect, I'm like, "Oh my god, why did I think that was a good idea to post?" But, like, at the time, I was like, "I'm gonna be honest, because no one else is gonna tell them, like, how to actually shave." And
Right?
I okay, like, this is fine, they'll get over it. And then I post it, and when it started blowing up, I'm like, okay, that's that's a lot of people seeing me act like that. That's a little concerning. But yeah, I mean, after a while, people liked it, obviously. So it was like, whatever.
Okay, because that video went really viral,
Yeah.
like, really viral. At the time, it popped up on my For You page. I didn't even know you then, we never even talked, and I was like, "Yo, what like, this is funny." I personally, I remember it. I still liked that video, and thought it was just hilarious, and my kids, like, my daughter, Jade can dance, she's got 3.1, she saw the video. My other daughter, Jasmine, she saw it as well, and we were talking about it in the house, and they just said it was hilarious and really funny, and they were like, "Hell yeah, like, that's legit, like, your the method of shaving." They're like, "Yeah, that works," or whatever, and I was like, "That's hilarious." So, okay, so you made that video, and you know what? I'm gonna share it now so people understand what this video is, and we'll talk more about it. Here we go.
For my people with female parts out there, I'm about to tell you the secret for how to bless your fucking cooch. You need this shit. It is an absolute blessing, and you can dry shave with this. That's fucking saying something. I use the fat ass Venus Gillette razors. I obviously cannot show my cooch on camera, so pretend this is it, right? You're gonna take this. Hopefully in the shower. If you're not, fuck it, it still works. You're gonna put that all there. Then, listen to this fucking part. You're gonna go down first. Then you're gonna go sideways on half of it this way, sideways on half of it this way, and then you go up. I swear by it. Whatever you fucking do not use this shit. It'll make you smell like shit after a couple days because it throws off your pH balance. Don't fucking do it. And now you have a smooth ass hoo-ha. You're welcome.
I bet every time do you cringe when you see it again?
Every time I watch it, I'm like, wow. Like that's something. Like, oh my God. I feel kind of bad for the brand that I've never thought about this before, but I feel kind of bad for the brand that I was like, don't use this, because the video went viral for both of them, I guess, now that
Yeah, basically EOS and Gillette are like, "Hell yeah," and the other brand's like,
it's like
"Oh, fuck." That's so funny but, like, if you look at that video, some people would think, like, for a brand to reach out, they would never
oh
think
my
that,
God, I
right?
know,
Like, they'd be
right?
like the brand would be like, "Hey, that was cool, but let's, like, not talk about that, or let's not share that with anybody." Because statistically, you think brand safety, like, legal teams, all these types of things. And but the funny thing is like I want to say it was just a little while later, I actually got an email from the people who were reaching out to you. So like, we're trying to reach out to Carly, and people know me in the industry of like being able to get a hold of people. And I was like, yeah, let me give it a go. I couldn't get a hold of you, but they obviously ended up doing it. But I had everything ready to go. I was like, this is sick. Like I really was so pumped and hoping that you would answer, but no worries. But they were able to get a hold of you, and what they presented to you was like, hey, we want to make a brand product based off of your video. Is that what they said?
They actually didn't ask me first. They just made it to get my attention.
Right?
Because I hadn't been responding because at that point I didn't do brand deals yet. Because I didn't think they were authentic, and
Mhm.
they made the product and posted it and tagged me on everything, praying that I would see it. And I did, and I was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "This is kind of desperate, but like this is cool as hell." Like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Okay, like I guess I'll try it." And it worked very well. So
Yeah, like okay, so because yeah, I remember them sending me a little screenshot of what the product would look like and things, and I was like, holy. And so the reason why it really caught my attention as well is because, I'm in the marketing. I work with creators and helping them with brand opportunities, and never have I ever seen anything like this with like, it's not being bold is one thing, but this was like bold to the max.
yeah.
And but why I say this and why I think it's so important for people to listen is with Gen Z culture and the way TikTok culture is going, is I believe it is so important for brands to have to kind of step away from the old traditional ways of being safe, and you have to be relatable to your audience. And Gen Z is really like, they're so open. They're being authentic. They're talking about things that we never talked about, from like racism to sexual stuff to being like to your sexual orientation. Like everybody's just being so much more open. And I think brands need to be like that too. They need to be like, okay, let's be open and let's share a little bit more of who we are and be a little bit more edgy to get the attention. And the brands that are doing that um are really like stepping up, and Gen Z is looking at them more as a friend versus just a brand or a product, if that makes sense. So I'm sure your relationship with EOS, now that they've partnered with you and done that, like your respect level for them, I'm sure has really increased. Is that true?
Oh yeah, 110%. Especially after the multiple events and stuff with them and working with the actual marketing team. They're great. They really are. And it's so nice not having to be super duper formal in a brand
Mhm.
partnership, especially. And when you're working that closely together, it makes it just all the better?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, not only like obviously it was a really good opportunity for you, to build your respect. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people who saw that were probably like, damn, EOS, like vibe check, like they passed the vibe check, they've done all those things. And people are, gonna go out and see the product now, and they're gonna think of how cool they were. So I want to share the other video quickly on what it is that they sent you, so people who are either going to watch this or listening, they can listen in, but you can be able to see this video and take a look. So I'm going to play that now for us.
Let's tell you the secret for how to bless your fucking cooch.
You're fucking joking. They made cooch blessing cream. Like literal cooch blessing cream. For a smooth ass hoo-ha. And the back is even better. The instructions, they directly quoted. That's my instructions. And oh my god. I had never tried any of this shit before, right? Like, they sent a bunch of shit. I'm telling you, the vanilla's still my favorite. The lavender is like close second, but I'm telling you, this shit is the secret to a smooth ass hoo-ha. It's how to keep blessing your cooch. Bless your cooch. Go find you shit, bro.
I love that as well. But you know what? Like, this is a good example. If working with a brand, you have to like, if you partner with the right creators who are just super authentic like that, it really works. And you could tell, like, when I watch that video, like, that's you. Like, you're not bullshitting around. You're just being who you are.
Yeah, I think it's way easier to promote a brand when you're actually enthusiastic about it too. Because
Right?
like in that, like I'm literally filming that video, getting ready to go out with my friends for my birthday, and we're like shaving our legs on a counter, like dry shaving our legs on a counter. And I was like, oh my god, wait, I have to do this like promo. Like I might as well do it while we're using it, right?
Right?
It works, you know. It's way easier to be enthusiastic about brands that you're promoting.
Definitely. I think a lot of brands make a massive mistake by they're trying to keep control over the video, if that makes sense, and not letting the creator have control. And so, like, it looked like EOS is like, here, like, do your thing. Is that
Yeah,
pretty much what they did?
that's exactly what they did. They basically gave me a time limit for the video, and they were like, just show the product. And I was like, oh, sick. All right. And I just did. They were like, okay.
Yeah, that's sick. That's how I think brands should be. Okay, we need it by this time. Here's the stuff, and do your thing. Like, just show it,
Exactly.
and that's it, and just show up. Because, like, you know how to work your audience versus, like, if they give you a script that might fit for somebody, but probably isn't going to fit for yours. And
Yeah.
so, like, they has to be in your own words and terminology, and what your audience knows works for you. Because I see it time and time again. Brands are like, you we need it to be like this, or you have to say this, and then the video flops, and I'm like, yeah, I knew that. Like, what do you expect? It doesn't work like that. TikTok is a different beast. Maybe like on Facebook back in the day when we didn't have a lot of entertainment, like, this was even before your time, really, Carly, but when I was growing up, you didn't have a lot of creators. Even on YouTube, it was like few and far between. So for them to maybe make something branded that's not authentic to them, we still watched it because we didn't have a lot of options. But now that there's so many creators, and even people who are small are getting viral moments, that we don't have time to see all that bullshit. Like, if it's not authentic, we're moving on, and it's almost cringy. And I think brands are not grasping that, so they have to realize, like, you only have a set time to reach these people, so you have let the creator just do it. They know what the hell works and doesn't work. So I like to drum that into my episodes all the time, because
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
hoping people listen to this and they're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, or Carly's gonna tell you off. If you want to work with Carly, and you give her a script, she's gonna say fuck off.
Oh my god, there's no like I've never I have never and I will never work with a brand that gives me a script to read off of. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
it's not gonna work out for either of us. Just that I know.
Exactly. Okay, and Carly, like, I'd like to ask this too. When you made that video and it was going crazy, what was your parents' reaction to that video? What did
Oh
they say?
okay, so my mom liked it. She was like, "Yeah, feminism, like this is great. Like you're being authentic, like whatever." My dad came home from work and he was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Why are you cussing on the internet?" And he kind of lost his shit on me a little bit. And he was like, you can't post videos like that, like digital footprint, like you're not going to get into college, like blah, blah. Freaking, that was the biggest part he was freaked out about. He thought that it was going to keep me from getting into college, which, to be fair, I get it. But like, he lost it and he was like, you need to delete it. And I was like, no, it's good. I'm fine. And then like a couple days later, we get this brand deal. And I'm like, see, I'm like, I told you. And he was like, right, fine.
It's true though. Like as each generation goes, like Gen X, like Boomers to Gen X was completely different. Gen X to Millennials is so different, and then same and so forth. So like your generation understands it. You're like, why would this limit me getting into college? What the fuck? Like, right? But like that generation is just because we didn't like people were not authentic when I was growing up. They were all fake bullshit. Like I grew up in the Instagram world where it was all like Instagram models and everybody's like little blog stories were like this picture perfect life, and nobody was just being real. Whereas like the Gen Z audience is now switching that and saying like, fuck that. We want to just like, I'm gonna be who I am. And I love that though. But the rest of the generations are not like they don't get it. It makes them feel uncomfortable because we're not used to being real, right? Like we're always fitting the mold that society thinks we should be, like going to college and this is what it takes to get in, which is actually a bunch of bullshit. You probably get into college faster now because you've had that success and you've done really cool stuff with it, and you've like you've been on shows like Marketing for the Now, which is like with Gary Vee, VaynerMedia's team, which is so cool, where that looks interesting for a college to be like, that's really cool. That's a really cool experience. Yeah. I really don't think it would limit that. If I was a college, I would never limit that. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I actually use like all of my social media as like all of my college essays, and then we find out that I don't even really need to go, which is great. So yeah, I mean, I had it in case I needed it. So
Right? So yeah, okay, so you're finishing your last year of high school, really. And then what is your plans now that, you've taken this really bold move and now you're growing, and the fun thing is that your audience still loves your authenticity. You're doing some really cool videos. But what's next for you in terms of, are you planning on being a full-time creator, or are you going to school, or both, or talk to me about that?
So originally, I never planned on doing the whole creator thing full time because my parents really hammered it in my head that I needed to go to like a traditional college and live on campus and do the whole university thing. But I always wanted to. Like when I was first starting out, I really wanted to. But it kind of just, it was like a pipe dream, whatever.
Yep.
And then, recently, with the help of you guys, obviously, we have decided to take the route of doing the whole influencer thing full time, which I'm so incredibly excited. I never thought I'd be able to do this. So we have decided that after graduation, I'm going to move to a bigger city. And I am still going to get a degree to make my parents happy, but I am going to do it online. I'm taking the online route instead of the traditional route, which my dad is kind of freaked out about. He's like, I'm worried that you're going to miss out and not have like a real college experience. And it's like, that was never really my thing,
Yeah.
Like,
No, for sure.
even in high school, I had a very traditional high school experience, and like it was great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm ready to dip, ready to be
Yeah.
done with it. Don't think I could do the traditional college thing unless I really had to. So I am super excited that like this is something I get to do as a job. Like that's insane because I
Yeah.
love doing it. So
No,
yeah.
100%. Exactly. No, that's so exciting. And your dad and maybe other parents, if they're listening to this, are going to hate me right now because I'm telling you, I'm a dad of a full-time creator. And the things I've learned from that, because, when I was growing up, it was the same thing. You must go to college, blah, blah, blah. And funny thing is that I went into the military because I didn't want to go to college. So that was like my way of like avoiding it. Right. I was like, oh shit, like I had to do something. So I did that. Then I went to college, which I was grateful for what I chose. But half my friends who spent the time at university, all of them never even used their fucking degree. And they're like still never used it. And they're paying off student loans while working at bullshit jobs. Right. Like, it's hilarious. And I'm like, okay, what did that mean? But also, the thing that the number one most important thing, and again, so many people are going to like hate on me for this, but I don't give a shit. But one thing you can't change, you can go back to school. I can go back to school right now at any time. You can in 4 years from now, 10 years from now. But the one thing you can't change is being 18 again. being 19 again, being 20 again, right? Being young, enjoying these experiences. Like, are you kidding? You're going to learn more by, I believe, being a content creator and going out there and like hustling for your job, and like you're building your personal brand, doing really cool, unique experiences, maybe being able to travel the world. Um, at this young age, you can't get that back. Try doing that in your late 30s, like in your 30s, 40s. The time to do those, it gets harder and harder because the life struggles, the burdens on your shoulders. Maybe you have kids, family. It gets way harder, and you don't have those opportunities. So my daughter, she was like, I don't want to go to school. I'm going to do this full time. Like, freaking ride that wave, girl. Like, go for it. Like, she's 20. She's going to be 21 this year. And she's still riding that wave. And we're doing awesome. Like, she's going to be going to music and all that stuff. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe she reaches a point one day where the wave ends. She can figure out what she's going to do for school at that point, or figure out a job. Like, that's not the end of the world at all. So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
grateful that you're going in that direction, because you gotta, yeah, you're only young once.
Well, you kind of helped me convince him, so thank you for that.
Yay! And I hope your dad's listening to this. Like, make sure you listen to this podcast because I'm speaking to your dad right now and saying good job for letting Carly become a creator, because it's fun. And interesting that especially Gen Z, their number one ambition, like where their career choice is to be a like creator.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand why. It's like it is just like a part of it is it's really cool just being liked by a large group of people. Like, but it's also cool to be able to like for a job just get to be yourself. Like that's insane. It's such a strange concept that like 10 years ago I would have been like, what? But now it's
Ye-
like it's so cool.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because like the corporate world, you never had to experience it, and I hope you never have to, because it sucks. It's shit. It's bullshit. Like, I hate people telling you how you have to be, and like, you accidentally say the F word in the break room, and you're like, shit, did anybody listen? Am I gonna get written up for this? Like, it's bullshit. Like, no, it sucks. So like, not to sing on people that are in those career choices now. If you're happy, cool. That's the most important thing. I think you should be doing what you feel happy about. But that's my take on it. Okay, Carly, you know what I would love to do is, because you are a young creator who's built yourself into this space, and there's a lot of young creators, young girls, maybe boys or whoever, that are looking to become a creator. And I would love to know, from your experience of getting to 1 million followers, what is some advice you can give to new creators starting out?
My first thing is do not sell out at all for any brand ever. Do not let someone talk you into like getting paid to do something that goes against your morals or even just like your personality in general. If it doesn't sound like you, do not do it. It will completely ruin any chances you have of keeping your authenticity throughout your career. Um Besides that, really, like again, be yourself 110%. And if you're like half cool, like I definitely think I'm a very average person. I act the same way as most of my friends, and I still have 1 million followers. There's still 1 million people who want to listen to me talk. So like, if you're even just like half cool, like being a nice person, there's like 90% shot that you got it, as long as you like have people who are there to support you and stuff like that. Oh my god, yeah, that's another thing. My parents are so like, oh my god, they're so supportive of it, which is insane because I know I'm very lucky. A lot of people's parents don't let them go do crazy stupid shit and are like, I'm gonna be famous one day, mom, don't worry about it. So but yeah, like they're letting me move out and like do school online because of this whole thing. Like that's crazy. So it definitely, my three big things: don't sell out, have a good support group, and be yourself.
I
100%.
I love that. Carly, like, that's literally, I think, the key to success right there. And some people overthink it. They're just overthinking it, and like, okay, maybe I have to post at this time. Well, no, fuck any of that shit is bullshit. Like, just be you. And how many times I tell people that, I'm like, just be you and show up, because then they think I'm not cool, or like, because you say that you're average. And the funny thing is, anybody I talk to, they say the same thing. They're like, I'm really not that interesting. I'm normal,
You don't have to be. Like
right?
you don't have to be like some insane person. Like I'm sure like a while ago, to be a celebrity, you would have had to, you know, like you have to sing or you have
Oh,
to do something. Like
totally.
you can just be a person now. Like especially if
Right?
you are normal, people are gonna relate to you on a way higher level.
Yeah, exactly. Like Hollywood world shifted because before Hollywood dictated who was cool, who was gonna be like the next thing, and now the world is like dictating that by based off of like who they like. And the funny thing is most people I enjoy aren't doing anything special. They're just being normal and they're just telling a story or they say it in a way that relates to me and then that's why I like it. And I think that's what's fun. And I tell people this too, like everybody has a story, even if you think it's boring, there's going to be a audience out there that doesn't think it's boring. They think it's super cool, or maybe the way you said a story relates to them and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I see you as a friend. Like I want to follow you. Maybe we could be friends." Like, and that happens a lot. And that's where we're shifting in the world. And I think that's really important. And I love that. And the support system, I'm telling you this right now, that is a key player. I'm so glad you brought that up because all the creators I know that are having success is because they have a support system. It really is. It stems down to that big time. And it doesn't have to be parents because there's a lot of people whose parents are not being supportive. So find yourself there's a lot of creators out there that are looking for a support system within themselves. Talk to some friends and let them know maybe there's other family members that can be a support, and it doesn't have to be big, just somebody that believes in you and is like, hey, you should, yeah, go for it. You can even reach out to me if you're listening right now and you're like, I don't have a support system. I can plug you into people who would love to be your support system. But that really is important, and you're very fortunate to have parents that are definitely backing you up. Like that's really an amazing thing to say.
Yeah, no, it is amazing. And especially I feel bad for people whose parents don't support them in doing this because it makes it all the harder. And obviously it's still possible. If I were in the position, I probably wouldn't have the guts to do it, especially without like
Yeah.
parents, like especially like financial help and stuff like that while you're just
Hmm.
starting. Like
Yeah.
and like, I'm 17 right now. I turn 18 next month and I'm already looking at like apartments and stuff. Hard to do when you're not 18 without
Yeah.
parents. So yeah, no, it's definitely really helpful.
No, for sure. And I can relate, like, as your parents, and it was hard for me in the beginning as well because I wasn't like in tune how I am now with like the whole culture and the way things are going. Um, I even hated TikTok at first when my kids like when they were using it because kept hearing the same sound and I'm like, oh my god, can you can you please turn that shit off? We literally used to tell them, look, you can only use TikTok in your rooms because I'm overhearing the same sound over and over. And then when you make a video, like doing it, like my daughter does dancing, so sometimes it'll take her like 12 times to make the video. So you have to like hear the same thing over. And I'm like, oh my God. But now that I get it, it's hilarious. We don't even see it and we know all the words and things like that. So that's fun. But you know what? Your tips on giving to creators, that is genius. Like for being like as young as you are and knowing exactly where creators should be, that is the perfect tip that I could say. Carly, like I appreciate you sharing that.
Well, thank you.
And okay, so talk to me like, before we wrap this up, talk to me about where your content is shifting now. You told me that you love fitness. Is that correct?
Yeah, so recently, I had kind of like a phase in August where I was like, "Oh my god, I really need to gain weight." And I had never been able to do that my entire life. And I figured it out and I got really into going to the gym and like more specifically lifting. And in the past couple months, I've gained like 25 pounds like that. Like it was
Really?
easier than I thought it was gonna be. And it has been really fun too. And like as I started gaining weight, I started making videos and I was like, hey guys, look how fun this is. Like, oh my God. And it just started blowing up and I got like a couple 100,000 followers just from like fitness content in the last month or two. And like obviously I still want to keep doing the whole just like being a personality and not having like a niche for my content because I
Yep.
think it's the best way to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely going to be leaning more towards fitness stuff in the future. I'm going to be trying to pertain to my own interests so I can
Mm-hmm.
keep doing stuff that like excites me a lot.
Yep.
You know, it does make it a lot, like I said, it makes it a lot easier to promote things that you genuinely are excited about. So my content is basically just going to be my interests at any given moment, it seems
I
like.
love it. I love it. Yeah, I get because you made a really good point there of some people are like, how what's the best way to grow? And you just hit it right on the head. Personality is so important. So, like for instance, I'm working with a creator, Alex Stemp, who's a photographer on the app. He's got 19.5 million. But the interesting thing is he's trying to switch out of his niche to a different concept, and it's not going as well because he realized that in his videos they were viral videos, but they weren't really about him. It was more about the person he was taking a picture of, right? So people didn't really know his face or his personality. And he says the exact same thing to creators now is like, you have to share your personality, you have to share who you are for people to want to migrate to listen to your other things that you're interested in. And so, I tell people this that are doing brand, like if you're a brand or a business, you have to have a face that connects to it as well. So that way people relate and can have like some sort of connection to a human being based off of their personality. And that's really important. So like what you're doing is so big. So that's why like when you did shift into some fitness, you didn't lose a lot of like you didn't lose followers, you gained followers because you're still sharing who you are. But now people are like, now people who are interested in fitness are like, yo, this girl's dope. And like maybe let's say you go into like a whole food category, who knows, like I'm just putting that out there. But let's say, or like cars, okay, you love cars, let's use that instead. When you start like talking about cars or building cars or like, right, like your audience is going to be like, what the hell, like they're going to love you because your personality, and then they're going to be like, wait, she loves cars too, this is sick, and going to gain followers there. But it's not going to throw them off because you're just being who you are, right? You're just sharing what you like. And that's what I love about TikTok is like on Instagram, it has to be so like everybody's feed, like everyone's like so caught up on the aesthetics of it, of like has to look like this or whatever. But on TikTok, you can just do whatever the fuck you want and share all kinds of shit. And I love that.
Exactly. Oh my God. I want to make Instagram casual again. Eventually, when I don't have to worry about actually like growing a platform on there. 'Cause
Hmm.
I'm at like 1.1 mil on TikTok, but like it's only transferred to like 150K on Instagram.
No, that's good though. I'm
It's
telling you.
decent. I'm
Yeah.
definitely not complaining. But yeah, once it's like a little more personality based on my Instagram, I think my Instagram is gonna get a lot more casual, less
Yeah.
with the modeling stuff, because I really wish people would make Instagram casual again.
I know.
I
I
think
I
it's so much
I
fun.
I think I agree. I think all platforms will reach a point that that's where it'll only be. And I think it's slowly getting there. Um, with Reels has helped that a bit, and people's like story posts has really helped that a bit because there's some people that literally go on Instagram just to watch stories because it's the real side of the creators, and
Mhm.
they really don't give a shit about their posts because they're like, whatevs. Cool, Carly, you look great on the beach on that car. Cool. But I want to see what the hell you're doing. What are you eating today? And what time did you actually wake up today? Was it four
Exactly. I
o'clock?
know, I'm so surprised at how, like, the little things that people are interested in, like, when I started doing, like, daily vlogs where I recorded
Mhm.
myself sleeping all day and then going to the gym once,
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh my god, like, this is great." I'm like, "What?" Like, "Okay, I'll keep doing it," but, like, wow. It's insane the
Yeah.
little tiny stuff that people are actually interested in watching.
Right? But they're probably thinking like, "Wait, shit, that she's like me, like, I slept all day and I didn't do fuck all like her." Like, you know what I mean?
It's
Like,
easier
cool,
to
yeah.
see a lot of like the vlogs that do really well that are like, oh my god, like perfect life. And I feel like those are the two like subsets of like daily like real stuff is like, oh, like I try to be like this is what I want to be like, or like, ah shit, this is kind of what it's actually more like. And I lean
For
more
su
towards the realistic side.
Exactly, the reality of what most people are going through. Yeah, 'cause I hate like, I don't hate on the people who do the realism stuff because like, that takes a lot of work for one. You have to, like,
Yeah.
really put in a lot of effort to make it look so perfect. But the problem I think with accounts like that is it does make you judge your things, like saying like, wow, I don't do that stuff. Like I must be a shit person or whatever. Whereas like accounts like yours, when you're like, "Look, I slept all day, I made something in the microwave, I went to the gym, went back to bed." Like that's like, oh,
It's more like,
okay,
oh,
Carly, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, she's like me, or okay, she didn't do anything that exciting today, but she's a an influencer, and that makes me feel good too. Like I'm cool like her, like, you know? And it's so cool. You don't have to be this special person to be cool. Or and we see that a lot. And I think that's what, you know, Instagram really created that like almost like a depression in a sense, like for your own life when you go on there and see that, it just makes you feel like crap. And TikTok's really changed that and is really hyping people up. And I think that's why it's so addicting as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I remember when I was growing up and I saw all my favorite like female influencers like traveling the world and going to parties all the time and stuff. I was like, ah, I was like, when do I get to do this? What? And now I'm like, okay, that's not very realistic. It's fine, but like, oh my god,
No. And I'm sure if we saw the real side to those people, there would be some
yeah,
crazy shit.
110%.
Yeah, I know because I've worked with a lot of creators offline where they don't see what's going on, and I'm not name dropping any names, but I'm telling you right now, some things that you see that look so perfect and thing is not. So, you know, and so I appreciate creators like you who are just authentic and just real and sharing moments, and I value that a lot. And I think you're going to be a superstar based off of like just your personality and where you're going. And I'm excited to work with you. And you know, anybody who's listening, you know, really dive into Carly. She might not be a creator that you like her content, but that style of content is something to really take in and understand of where the shift is going with, that brands need to be bold, but also as a creator, you know, authenticity really is the key factor to growing and moving forward. And we're going to see that shift more and more and more as time progresses. But Carly, for people listening, plug in all your, tell me where everybody can follow you, and how they can, you know, support you.
Okay, well, obviously my TikTok, my main platform is at Killjoy with 3 Ys and 2 Ls. My Instagram is carly.jb and my Snapchat is carlyjoy Birn. Sorry, I had to remember that for a second. Those are really the 3 main socials I use, but I'm going to try and move to Twitch and YouTube this upcoming week, so those will be posted on my main channel on TikTok.
There you
Exciting
go.
stuff.
And I told you this before, but jump onto YouTube Shorts. I'm telling you,
I will.
for anybody listening right now, that's another sneak peek into gaining some new audiences, is using that shorts feature. You can literally repurpose your content, like make sure you remove the watermark, but just repurpose your content over there and you can get some serious growth. You know, I love TikTok and I support them 100%, but I also think it's important to diversify where you plug your stuff, and being, you know, in front of different audiences is really beneficial for growth and maintaining long term, like like making sure you stay alive just in case TikTok ever decided to shut down. I don't ever see that happening, but you never know. But yeah, Carly. So anybody listening right now, I made it very simple for you. Go to the description notes of this podcast episode, and you will find all the clickable links to Charlie. Wow, to Carly's social channels, and then you'll be able to click those and go straight over there and give her a follow and support, and maybe put in the comments on some of her things saying you came from this podcast episode so she knows. But yeah, Carly, thank you so much. Like, this was such a fun and refreshing episode, just to be real, and sharing that, and I really appreciate you being on.
Yeah, I had tons of fun talking to you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. But yeah, everybody go check out Carly, and thank you everybody for listening and your continued support every week. Thank you.